So I have recently dealt with like a number of obstacles, just like bureaucratic hurdles, things that I like have to do just to keep living my daily life, things around banking, things around you need to give us this tax form from a couple years ago. Just like very mundane things that like turn into big problems if you don't handle them. And also just down to even like day-to-day levels, like websites I need for my job not working, and things like that. And so I've really just kind of shifted to this understanding that you have to anticipate obstacles, and you kind of just have to expect that things won't work, and you just have to expect that things will be broken, and you have to expect complications. And so basically anytime, something, even like a mundane thing, like, you have to expect that like maybe your debit card just won't work, and it'll be kind of impossible to explain, but yeah, no, it just doesn't work. Or you have to expect that, when you go to the bank, for whatever reason, you filled out this application, but it didn't come through, and now you have to fill it out all over again. You just have to expect that. And I think a lot of the reason that people get frustrated about things, or at least looking back on myself in the past before I adopted this mindset, is like I was always like, oh man, that sucks. I expected things to go kind of smoothly. And it's like, no, you can't expect things to go smoothly. You have to expect obstacles, and you have to expect that like it's basically going to shit the bed every time. So, just anytime something could go wrong, it's like Murphy's Law. It's just, if something can go wrong, it will. For example, I've been looking at like getting a bike, right? And I know that processes involved there, basically like getting on Craigslist, looking at a bike, buying a bike. There's so many points there where like something could just fuck up, like, maybe my Venmo wouldn't work, or maybe the bike would, be for too tall a person, or maybe I wouldn't be able to transport the bike in my car, or, maybe there'd be some kind of communication issue with the seller. And so it's just like, I've just come to expect obstacles and expect things not to work, and expect bureaucratic hurdles. And it's, it's just like it's almost like a long war. It's like you are, fighting a decades-long war. And you just have to expect all of these things are just going to come and make your life more difficult and slow you down and get in the way. And that's life. And that's why I really, another reason why I certainly would never have kids, is just because there's so many obstacles, and it's just like a long, drawn out war, but like in the most mundane sense. And the war is just to even exist in an apartment and do your job and, pay for things with money and all that kind of shit. So, and you're gonna lose anyway, right? So you're gonna die in the end anyway. So it's like, what, you're just like holding out as long as you can and trying to, get as many little pleasure hits as you can before the enemy wins in the end anyway. So, and by the enemy, I mean the pain of death. I think, oblivion obviously is good. But anyway, so maybe this was a little pessimistic, but I do think it helps me cope better with all of the inconveniences when I just expect them, instead of being like, everything's going to be fine, we're smooth sailing, everything's great. It's like, no, shit's going to break, and that's the way it's going to be perpetually, and that's life, is cleaning up the messy, broken shit on the floor. So, I guess I'm going to call it a day, and have a good weekend, everybody.